21 things you need to know about Wichita before moving there is the article we're going to be reviewing and going over today. This is actually a pretty good article. Some of these that I've read before about Wichita is like you don't have a clue what you're talking about, but this one is pretty decent, and I'm going to go through and break down the things that are true about it, the things that are not, give you some of my personal opinion and perspective of it from living here for 36 years and being in construction for 13, flipping houses for 11, and agent for 9. One of my favorite things to do is help people get to know Wichita, whether you're from here or not from here, and making your moving decisions for relocating to Wichita. But before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all those fun things that really help grow the channel. Specifically, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing and breaking down the article and having fun with it. And I'll post the link to the article so you have it. But here's one thing: is this is made by Mavoto, which is like a lead company. So if you do read the article and you want to look at Wichita and houses, follow the link to my website and come to me instead of going to the third party lead companies where all your money goes towards the other guys instead of the little guy, which is me and the small business that's part of your local community here. So 21 things you need to know about Wichita before you move there is what we're going to be talking about. By no means is this all inclusive, but it does do a pretty good job of everything. Let me start my timer so I'm not yapping at you guys too long. I can move from thing to thing. So someplace affordable can't do better in Wichita. I'd probably agree with that as far as our what you make compared to what you got to pay for a house on everything or rent. We got a very stable job economy here with a lot of blue collar jobs, is what I'd say: manufacturing, healthcare, the aerospace industry, agriculture, a lot of different things like that. But then our average price point is about 275,000 for a house. To give you an idea, like if you're looking at moving from another bigger market to here, and not just financially are we affordable. The biggest one that I continue to harp on is time wise. You're gonna have a lot of time here. Like everything's about 15 to 20 minutes if you start to look at it on a satellite map on GPS. Nothing's really that far away. So not only are you going to have more disposable income to spend money on in an affordable way here, you're going to have the time to do it too, is the other, honestly, in my opinion, more valuable thing than the money. We don't necessarily have the geography and all the other stuff like that, but the quality of life here is great. So someplace affordable, I definitely agree with that. Their city landmark is so much cooler than yours. It is pretty cool. I don't know, that's debatable though if it's cooler than yours, because I've traveled a lot and see a lot of places. There's some pretty cool landmarks and cool geography, but we got a big Keeper of the Plains on the river that has a ring of fire that goes around it that you can walk with like a suspension bridge. So it is pretty cool. Cooler than yours? I don't know. That's a pretty debatable thing because while it is pretty cool and significant, I've been to a lot of other cooler places also. So need to keep that in check. This third one cracks me up, especially from talking to a lot of people that are not from Wichita in Kansas and what they think it's like, because they think Wichita is a cowboy city through and through. That's not true. Like we're not all Hicks. We don't all live in farms. Like I don't know Dorothy or Toto. We do have the Yellow Brick Road, and I can show you where it's at, but it's in one of our art galleries. That we have a lot of cool pop culture and art galleries. So I wouldn't say that Wichita's a cowboy city through and through. We have that as our roots, yes. But honestly, I'd say we're fairly progressive as a city. And back in the day when prohibition and some other things were coming along, Kansas was a very progressive state when it came to adopting a lot of those newer policies, newer methods, and everything. So Wichita's a cowboy city through and through. I would challenge that one. As a city, as a state, yes, I would say so. As a county, yes. As the city of Wichita, I wouldn't say that so much because we're a little big town, is what I'd call it, and we're a major metro population size, about 600,000, to give you an idea of population size to compare to other major metros. We got kind of a small town attitude with a big city population, is what I'd call it. So take that for what you will with it all. But Cowboy City through and through, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say that. You should know your neighborhood. This one I would agree with. There's 344 different neighborhoods and subdivisions in Wichita, and they're all a pocket market and community and culture that goes with them. So as you're starting to look at houses, east side versus west side is a big thing. Going south to Kellogg is a big thing here. And I'll get into that. I'll get into that on a different video. I'm not going to go into that on this one. But even then, so like your neighborhood is very significant, whether it's College Hill, Riverside, So what I'm thinking of, there's Bonnie Bray out east, there's Rockwood, there's Vic Ridge, like there's a lot of different neighborhoods, and knowing the culture of them, what they're like. Eastboro is a whole city in and of itself in the middle of Wichita. So Wichita's got a city within a city called Eastboro that has its own police department that you do not speed through, or else you'll get a speeding ticket with that. Number five, Old Town is really New Town. This is considered our entertainment district, sort of, and it's pretty good with restaurants. It's got a lot of classic brick architecture and things like that. It's decently walkable compared to like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, some of those others. It could use a little bit more, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, it's good, but it's our entertainment district and it's got a lot of cool things. You can live down there and it's getting better, but there could be some improvement there also. Wichita's basically the air capital of the world. Well, we are. We have Spirit Manufacturing here, which is who makes the majority of the airplanes for the rest of the nation to fly around in, which is getting ready to be Boeing. Boeing was started here, and that's kind of what we've been known for a long time, is the air capital of the world, manufacturing airplanes in the aerospace industry. But we do have a strong manufacturing sector in other areas, and agriculture and healthcare, and pretty soon a lot of new technologies with WSU Tech and the biomedical campus that's going downtown, and some advancements there. Which takes me to number seven, which is Harold and Kumar go to Burger King. Doesn't have the same ring to it. What they mean by that is Pizza Hut and White Castle were started here in Wichita. Same thing with Freddy's, and a lot of different entrepreneurial attitude or endeavors. So Wichita is a pretty innovative, progressive city when it comes to new business ideas, business concepts, and pioneering some of those things to go with it. And so I'd say it's pretty cool because it started some of those things, but it's not very well known because most people, when you say Wichita, are like, what is that? We're all over pop culture. It's actually shows up in a lot of different songs, movies, things like that as you start to research it more. It's actually a pretty cool place, being childhood home of Clark Kent in the TV series Smallville. What I think you come to find is when you first might make fun of Wichita when you think of it or look at it or snicker at it, but as you get to know it, it grows on you and you like it more and more. And you're like, you know what, Wichita is a pretty legit place to live, to work in, to do whatever in. We got honestly a pretty good mix of just about anything you could think of for anyone, between the food scene, the entertainment scene, the culture scene. We have a big mixing pot of people and cultures, and I love it for that. It may not just be as in your face as other places that you might think of. So you got kind of some hidden gems, hidden pockets of areas. It's not quite as well known. What I'd call Wichita is vintage, because you get some of the classic things here that you don't get elsewhere in other bigger cities, and some of those things that kind of got lost over time with all that. So smaller leagues make the best games of all. I would agree with that one, just because we do have kind of that smaller town feel for like the WSU Shockers is a local college basketball team that does really well, and they've made it to the Final Four before in basketball. You also have, and this is funny because it's outdated with Lawrence Dumont Stadium. We now have the Riverfront Stadium with the Wichita Wingnuts. Actually, it's the Wind Surge now. It used to be the Wingnuts, and it's got kind of more of a small town feel that's still fun. You get more for your money, and you get kind of that feel for it. But where I was going with this and what I was thinking they were saying was smaller leagues for like kids sports. Kids sports are a big deal around here, whether it's volleyball, soccer, what have you, that you want to travel to and play. Baseball, softball, a lot of those. You have smaller leagues, very competitive still with everything, but you're not quite as massive as some of these other major metro cities for everything for smaller leagues. And one thing that goes into that too that I keep in mind is like smaller class sizes for schools. Bigger is not necessarily always better, but we're not so small that we don't have many of the amenities and features that you'd come to expect from a school that you may not get in bigger cities or bigger areas for that. So we're kind of just right. So I call it the Goldilocks city. That's a new one. I should probably start calling it that. We're just the right size. We're not too big, not too small, just right. Beer, it's kind of a patriotic duty in Wichita. We definitely like our craft breweries, our local places like Central Standard Brewing and Hopping Gnome and River City Brewing, and Norton's Brewing is a newer one. A lot of cool craft breweries that can go chill with some cool outdoor amenities and features. So Go check out those. Those I'd say is pretty accurate, pretty cool. New Morning Sugar Rush. We love our donuts. And you know what's funny? We are trying to find some bread the other day at a bakery for Christmas and couldn't really find one here in Wichita. And it was kind of interesting that there isn't a ton of local bakeries that are kind of small one-offs. Like you got Great Harvest Bread Company, La Galette, French Bakery, but other than that, you don't really have a ton of bakeries around Wichita that aren't chains or grocery stores or things like that. We have plenty of bread, don't get me wrong, but we don't have a lot of novelty bakery spots, but we do have a lot of donut spots. We had a Hertz Donuts, we got Krispy Kremes, we got Lamar's, but there's also the Donut Hole, but it actually just recently closed with that. There's a lot of cool breakfast spots around it that you can get to, like homegrown also. So a lot of dining and entertainment options around Wichita. Beauty is in the eye of Wichita. What are they going with that? So yeah, that's with our art museum and our art scene. We have a lot of these cool things called Final Fridays and different art galleries, exposures, events. I would really say Wichita's an event city. We love our events. There may not be regular entertainment things that you can go to that you just look for, but you have to plan for them. And when there's an event, Wichita shows up, they show out. There's a lot of cool, interesting events and things to do. It cracks me up when people say there's nothing to do here because there totally is. There's a ton of things to do here. You just have to kind of get out of your house, look for it, and plan for it. Rainy today is no excuse to be lazy in Wichita. We do have a decent amount of outdoor options, but I would say we don't really have the geography like other places do. So, I mean, we have some awesome sunsets with the long rolling plains. Our river's pretty cool to walk around, bike around, that kind of thing. We have exploration prey. Oh my gosh, I cannot say it. Exploration place, which is a cool science, technology and learning center right along the river, which is pretty cool. And we do have a good amount of indoor places. So if it is rainy or snowy like it is today, there's still plenty of stuff to do. Just be careful when you get out. Don't be a square, eat at Old Mill Tasty Shop. This is right across from NAFCA Park, which is kind of an urban park downtown. Old Mill Tasty Shop's more of an old school type of a restaurant, and it's vintage, like I was mentioning before, and it's pretty classic Wichita vintage culture. We like to keep a lot of the good things of the past while updating new things for the future. So kind of don't throw baby out with the bathwater kind of concept. Wichita lights up at Christmas time, literally. Yes, I would definitely agree with this one because the Botanica Wichita Gardens hosts illuminations that has over 10,000 visitors and tens of thousands of lights. And this is just one of our many Christmas light displays. We love Christmas around here. Between illuminations and then now the wildlife shows out at Sedgwick County Zoo, but then also Candy Cane Lane and Reindeer Road out west. Tons of the light up houses that go to music, all kinds of things to do during Christmas. Pop up restaurants and bars has been a big one lately, like the Jingle at Public at Brickyard and the Snow Globe at River City Brewing, and a lot of those like igloos at Ziggy's Pizzas and Norton's. A lot of really cool things to do here around Christmas time, and we legit light up. Also, College Hill is a really cool one to go check out during Christmas and see all the light up features, displays. Same thing with Halloween. Wichita does have a lot of cool culture and family oriented environments of things to do. And that goes into lions and tigers and giraffes, which has to do with our zoo. We have a pretty cool zoo that has a lot of major features and amenities. I would definitely agree with that one. For the sake of time and everything else, I'd say go check out their website, Sedgwick County Zoo. But we do have a pretty major significant zoo that brings a lot of entertainment for yourself, kids, family, whoever, date night, whatever you want to do there. 19 days of fun on the river, River Fest. This is a funny one, kind of a controversial one too. Lately, the tickets have been going up, and I would say the appeal and quality has been going down. Just because honestly, Wichita has been getting so many other cool events besides Riverfest. It's not the only festival and event we have going on around here. And it is cool and it's a good feature, but they're starting to kind of make it not as featured on the river. I don't want to poo-poo it too much, but it is definitely a cool thing that Wichita does. It's kind of our Wichita festival. We call it the Wichita River Festival, but recently it's gotten away from the river a little bit more. But it is a cool event that Wichita Festivals puts on that brings a community together. It's usually just a big concert and it's a big community event just to get people out and together. Kind of like I said, like Wichita is an event city. When events show up, like come out, people show up. If not, like they kind of are chilling at home, going to work, enjoying their families, doing all their other run of the mill things. But when there's an event, we're there. We have our own Sundance with the Independent Film Festival called Tallgrass Films. It's pretty cool festival if you're into that kind of thing. One of the 100 independent films from all over the world. It's 5-day bash made in hipster heaven. Harrison Ford is another one that loves coming to Wichita and checking it out. Kirstie Alley used to live here for a while. Some of these things that you may or may not know about Wichita, that's kind of a unique, cool, hidden little gem. The city doesn't forget its roots. I definitely say that with Mid-American All Indian Center on everything, and just kind of our culture as far as people and the history of like Wyatt Earp and Riverside and Delano and where we came from. We're good about getting better with our lives and improving our quality of life, but also not forgetting where we came from and what life's really all about, or its own role in history. In 1958, protesters set the lunch counter at Wichita's Dockham drugstore, which is funny because now it's a speakeasy, until the owner finally agreed to serve African American patrons 18 months before the famous Greensboro sit-in. So we're big on moving towards integration. There's always work and progress that still needs to be made, but in a lot of ways, we're very progressive on certain social issues like that. But then there's other ones we're still kind of behind on or not given into yet, but that's a whole nother thing I'm not going to get into for the sake of business and just this video. But performing arts that should shatter glass, culture and performing arts are everywhere in Wichita. Music lovers have their pick between the Music Theater of Wichita and the Wichita Grand Opera, both which perform at Century 2 and also the Orpheum Theater. So Wichita has a pretty vibrant arts and culture scene, a little bit more intimate with the smaller shows, smaller venues, but like Temple Lives came around, Crown Uptown Theater. If you're into those type of things, Wichita does have a pretty decent arts and culture scene, and it's getting a lot better with our civic pride movement coming through and things being cooler. As far as like promoting Wichita, promoting the culture, the city, all of that. And just like what I'm doing, I would love to have you move to Wichita if you're looking to move here, or get to know your city better to appreciate it, so you understand all the different things that are going on and what's around the city and how it's going on. But that's a big one. Like I said, I think it's a pretty good article. Some of the things are off base. The majority of it's pretty good. Hopefully this helps you get to know Wichita a little bit more and checking out our city from not only an article perspective, but my local personal perspective. I'd love to show you around the city, get to help you get to know what it's like. If you want to watch more of my videos to check out Wichita, check out real estate, or you can follow the link below to get in touch with me to start working together and have a conversation about how I could help you out as a real estate agent. I'd really look forward to talking with you and seeing where we can go from there. But appreciate you watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe, share, especially subscribe for YouTube, and we'll go from there. Talk to you soon. See ya.